Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News over the next 30 minutes, where we bring you a quick wrap-up of all that's made news today from around the world. I'm Samriddhi Goel. Let's get started. Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said that 2 cases of Omicron variant of COVID have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours. In a media briefing in New Delhi today, Joint Secretary in the Union Health Ministry, Love Agarwal, has said both the cases are from Karnataka, and he said all primary contact tracing and secondary contact tracing of both the cases have been detected and are now being tested. The Joint Secretary also said that passengers arriving from at-risk countries need to undergo the RT-PCR test on arrival, and if found positive for COVID, they'll have to be treated under clinical management protocol. But if tested negative, they'll follow home quarantine for 7 days. Upon achieving new milestones in vaccination, Love Agarwal has said there is an increase in the second dose of vaccination. He also said that several initiatives were taken to increase the number of vaccination across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting today to review the preparedness of states and central ministries and concerned agencies to deal with the situation arising out of the likely formation of Cyclone Javad. Prime Minister directed officials to take every possible measure to ensure that people are safely evacuated and to ensure maintenance of all essential services such as power, telecommunications, health, drinking water, etc., and that they are restored immediately in the event of any disruption. The Prime Minister further directed them to ensure adequate storage of essential medicines and supplies and to plan for unhindered movement. He also directed for 24/7 functioning of the control rooms. The IMD has informed that low-pressure region in the Bay of Bengal is expected to intensify into Cyclone Javad and is expected to reach the coast of North Andhra Pradesh, Odisha around the morning of Saturday, 4th December, with the wind speed ranging up to 100 kilometers per hour. Cyclone Javad is likely to cause heavy rainfall in the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal. IMD has been issuing regular bulletins with the latest forecast to all the concerned states. The NDRF is assisting the state agencies in their preparedness for evacuating people from the vulnerable locations and is also continuously holding community awareness campaigns on how to deal with the cyclonic situation. A cyclonic circulation still persists over Southeast Arabian Sea, due to which a low-pressure area is forming over East Central Arabian Sea. Provided the western disturbance over northwest and central India, it continues to rain with strong wind in all the districts of Gujarat. Districts such as Dang, Valsad, Navsari, Umarpada, Vistarurao have received more rains in Gujarat. Rains have occurred in other districts such as Ahmedabad, Surat, Anand, Sabarkantha, Banaskantha, Vadodara. In the meantime, farmers have been instructed by the government to take precautions in advance, and the fishermen have also in fact been instructed not to venture out into the sea for the next 3 days. Rajya Sabha faces repeated adjournment due to the ruckus of oppositions. Due to repeated uproar by the opposition members, the chairman announced the Rajya Sabha adjourned until 12 noon and till 2 p.m. The opposition members, including from Congress, TMC, Aam Aadmi Party, RJD and TRS, today staged a walkout from the proceedings of the House, alleging that they are not being allowed to raise their issues. When the House reassembled after the first adjournment at noon, the Deputy Chairman Harivansh started question hour, but the opposition members raised the issue of suspension of 12 members and demanded that the leader of the opposition should be allowed to speak. The Supreme Court today expressed its dissatisfaction at the implementation of the measures suggested by it and the central government to curb the rising air pollution in Delhi. A bench of Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, and Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and Suryakant noted how children are still made to go to schools, though the Delhi government had assured that all classes would be online. The bench observed that elders have to work from home and children have to go to the school, and the Chief Justices of India said the objective of the court in taking up the issue was to improve the air quality. The statement was in response to the criticism from various quarters that the court was intruding into the domain of the executive. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today laid the foundation stone of Ma Shakumbhatri Vishwavidyalaya in Western UP. As Saharanpur, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath called the occasion a path towards the state's beautiful future. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh felicitated the prominent contributors to the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund during the third edition of the Armed Forces Flag Day Corporate Social Responsibility Conclave in New Delhi. He paid rich tributes to the brave soldiers who laid down their lives in the service of the nation. Rajnath Singh expressed gratitude to all those who made valuable contributions in the AFFDF and appealed for more generous donations for the rehabilitation and welfare of ex-servicemen, Veer Naris and their dependents. He commended the valor and sacrifice of the armed forces for defending the integrity and sovereignty of the country. The Armed Forces Flag Day will be observed on December 7th. The Armed Forces Flag Day or the Flag Day of India is a day dedicated to India towards collection of funds from people of India for the welfare of the Indian Armed Forces personnel. Actor Amitabh Bachchan in a video message asked people to commemorate the day by paying their tributes to the forces. Fresh snowfall was witnessed in the SPITI valley of HIMACHAL Pradesh this morning. The upper mountains also received fresh snowfall. The temperature in tribal areas has dipped down to sub-zero level. The 30-share Sensex on Thursday surged by 776.50 points to end at 58,461.29. Nifty's 50 also surged 234.75 points to end at 17,401.65. The prices of the yellow metal were trading high by 43%. Gold prices were up by 205 rupees at the MCX to end at 47,783 rupees per 10 gram. The silver prices, on the other hand, fell by 891 rupees at the MCX to end at 60,569 rupees per kilogram. The Indian rupee slipped 8 paise to close at 74.99 provisional against the United States dollar. The crude oil prices also surged by 29 rupees or 0.58% high to end at 5,035 rupees per barrel. Now, petrol became cheaper in Delhi after the Delhi government cut down the value-added tax further. From today onwards, petrol is selling at 95 rupees 97 paise per litre. After a reduction of 8 rupees per litre, petrol in Delhi has become the cheapest for now. The IHS Market Purchasing Managers Index PMI for India shot up to a 10-month high in November 2021 due to some strong domestic demand. The PMI rose to 57.6 in November 2021 from 55.9 in the October, which is the highest since January this year. The manufacturing sector continued its strongest expansion in November as sales accelerated and production saw the fastest upturn in 9 months. A PMI above 50 indicates growth, while if it is below 50, it denotes contraction. India's merchandise exports increased for the 12th consecutive month in November 2021, growing at 26.49% compared to November 2020 to $29.88 billion. Data released by the government showed on Wednesday. The rise in exports was led by engineering goods, petroleum products, chemicals and marine products. According to provisional data released by the government, the country's imports increased 57.18% to $53.15 billion in November. Now, this led to a merchandise trade deficit of $23.27 billion during the month. Gold imports rose 39.67% to $4.2 billion in November. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has exceeded 1.25 crores. The recovery of 8,548 patients in the last 24 hours has increased the cumulative tally of recovered patients since the beginning of the pandemic to 3,40,37,054. Consequently, India's recovery rate now stands at 98.35%. Sustained and collaborative efforts by the centre and the states and union territories continue the trend of less than 50,000 daily new cases that is being reported for 158 consecutive days now. 9,765 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload presently stands at 99,763. Active cases constitute 0.29% of the country's total positive cases, which is lowest since March 2020. The testing capacity across the country continues to be expanded. The last 24 hours saw a total of 10,98,611 tests being conducted. Now, India has so far conducted over 64.35 crore and 35,10,926 to be precise cumulative tests. While testing capacity has been enhanced across the country, weekly positivity rate at 0.85% remains less than 1% for the last 18 days now. The daily positivity rate reported to below 0.89%. The daily positivity rate has remained below 2% for the last 59 days and below 3% for 94 consecutive days now. The world is seeing an upward trend in COVID-19 cases yet again. The number of cases of the disease have now crossed 26 crore 39 lakh cases globally. So far, more than 23 crore 82 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19 worldwide. The virus has claimed over 52 lakh 45,000 lives. The US continues to remain the worst affected with the disease in terms of cases as well as number of casualties. The US has now registered more than 4 crore 95 lakh cases and over 8 lakh fatalities. COVID-19 cases have been mushrooming all across Europe countries, with the UK being the hardest hit in the continent. The UK has more than 1 crore 2 lakh cases of COVID-19, followed by France, where the cases have risen above 77 lakh and 25,000. Germany also registered a spike in the number of cases, with the total tally standing above 59 lakh 53,000. Italy trails behind it, where the over 50 lakh 43,000 COVID-19 cases have been registered. The United States on Wednesday identified its first known case of Omicron discovered in a fully vaccinated patient who traveled to South Africa. The top U.S. infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci said that the first U.S. case of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has been detected in California, and the individual in question had returned from South Africa on November 22nd and tested positive 7 days later. Anthony Fauci also said the person was fully vaccinated against COVID-19 but had not had a booster shot and mild symptoms. Fauci also said that Omicron might elude some vaccine protection. The World Health Organization expects to have more information on the transmissibility of the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus within days. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Wednesday that travel restrictions imposed over COVID-19 that isolate any one country or region is not only deeply unfair and punitive, they are ineffective. Guterres said the only way to reduce the risk of transmission while allowing for travel and economic engagement was to repeatedly test all travelers. Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi said on Wednesday travel bans on southern African nations over fears of new Omicron coronavirus variant are unfair and unjustified. Organizers halted a music festival for young people on the South African coast on Wednesday after 36 people tested positive for COVID-19 at the site. A middle lockdown came into force in Austria to stem the surge in daily infections. The parents gathered outside a vaccination center in Vienna to get them vaccinated. Peru's health minister confirmed that a woman traveler of Japanese descent who traveled from Peru has been confirmed to carry the Omicron variant in Japan. As the world scrambles to prevent the spread of the new Omicron variant, Cuban authorities announced they are working on a strain-specific vaccine. South Korea's daily coronavirus case numbers rose to a new high today as authorities halted quarantine exemptions for fully vaccinated inbound travelers for 2 weeks in a bid to fend off the Omicron variant. Drone footage released by Spain's national police showed huge swathes of land covered by volcanic ash in La Palma as Camber Vieja volcano expelled lava and molten rocks. The regional government of La Palma said it would reopen access to residents and business owners, and this is going to be in the northern and southern areas as air quality improved across the whole island. In US, the lights were turned on the Capitol Christmas tree to celebrate the Hanukkah. Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff opened the White House ceremony, and on Capitol Hill, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi presided over the lighting of the Capitol Christmas tree. Conservative U.S. Supreme Court justices indicated support for upholding a restrictive Mississippi abortion law in a ruling that would undermine or outright overturn the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling legalizing the procedure nationwide. The court, which has a 6-3 conservative majority, heard about 2 hours of oral arguments in the southern states' appeal to revive its ban on abortion starting at 15 weeks of pregnancy, a Republican-backed law blocked by lower courts. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin met South Korea's Defense Minister Soo Wook at the South Korean Defense Ministry in Seoul. Austin and U.S. top military officials will participate in annual consultative meetings with South Korean counterparts, which host around 28,500 American troops as a legacy of the 1950-1953 Korean War. The UAE held a grand ceremony on Wednesday in Dubai as part of celebrations marking 50 years since the nation's historic unification and founding in 1971. Now, the 50th National Day was celebrated on the Al Wasl stage at Expo 2020. UAE President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan previously declared 2021 as the year of the 50th celebrations for the country's half-century birthday have been running from April 6th and will continue until March 31st of 2022. Miss Universe contestants toured Jerusalem's Old City on Wednesday ahead of the annual beauty pageant, which this year will be hosted by Israel. Now, the contestants visited Christianity's most sacred church, the Holy Sepulchre, and Judaism's holiest prayer site, the Western Wall. Mexican conductor Alondra de la Parra hopes to entice audiences with her love of classical music through a new multidisciplinary performance in which she pairs an orchestra and a clown on stage in a new format with the silence of sound and puts musicians on stage rather than in the pit. Through classical pieces, the orchestra plays a key role in the storytelling as the clown searches for fulfillment. The Silence of Sound will premiere in Mexico in July. De la Parra plans Mexican and European tours afterwards. Who can forget Charles Dickens and his literary excellence? He is once again being remembered by his fans who will be bidding for a letter written by him. A colourful letter written by Charles Dickens while he was touring the United Kingdom giving readings of his story, A Christmas Carol, is set to go up for auction at Christie's in London. In the 4-page handwritten note to his friend, the architect and MP Sir Joseph Paxton, Dickens gives details of a strange incident where Paxton was persuaded not to attend a dinner being held in his honour on the political grounds. Now, this letter is expected to fetch between £4,000 to £6,000 at the auction house's valuable books and manuscripts sale, which is going to be held on December 15th. The Grand Muthu Rainbow Hotel, owned by Grupo Gaviota, boasts sun lounges in luxury beach surroundings, foam parties in the pool, and fabulous nighttime shows on a property built specifically to cater to millions of LGBTQ tourists to Cuba. Although the hotel is privately owned and operated, it is the first hotel promoted by the Cuban government and run by the Cuban military. Grupo Gaviota recently announced the second gay-friendly resort will soon be inaugurated in capital Havana. The Chilean and Argentine paleontologists have identified a new armored dinosaur who roamed the Patagonian region of Chile 74 million years ago. Paleontologists say that Stegosaurus warded off predators with a unique tail armed with spikes. The four-legged plant-eating creature exemplifies the arms race that unfolded during the age of dinosaurs to acquire new traits to survive in a perilous world. Even as internet orders boomed during the pandemic, the residents of Paraisópolis, a poor community of 100,000 people in the heart of Brazil's Sao Paulo, would often find their postcodes rejected when they reached the online checkout for only one reason, and this was the area being considered risky. Now, to fix the problem, Pereira started Favela Brazil Express, a delivery firm willing to go where others would not. Favela Brazil Express now has 90 employees working in Paraisópolis, all community residents who undertake 800 deliveries per day. In South Korea, Alpha Mini robots are helping educators in 300 kindergartens and preschools in Seoul to teach high technology from childhood. Now, this is a unique training manual and is part of the pilot project being implemented by the government. Little Alpha is a 29.5 centimeters tall, hilarious robot who sings, dances, tells stories, exercises with children, and even teaches them Kung Fu secrets. Now, the project, which began in Seoul, aims to educate the next generation about today's digital technologies as early as kindergarten. In the run-up to the Paris Olympics 2024, Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has now announced the inclusion of 7 more top international athletes to Mission Olympic cell, and this includes Baichung Bhutia, ANJU Bobby George, Sardar Singh, Anjali Bhagwat, Viren Raskinha, Monalisa Barua Mehta and Trupti Burgunde. India and New Zealand are set to lock horns in the second and final test of the ongoing test series. The India vs New Zealand second test begins December 3rd at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. West Indies bowling great Michael Holding wants more sports people to step forward and speak out about racism because they have an important platform. Legendary Indian athlete Anju Bobby George has been bestowed with the Woman of the Year award by the World Athletics for grooming talent in the country and for her advocacy of gender equality. Women's Tennis Association has decided to suspend all its tournaments in China due to concerns about the safety of former doubles world number 1 Peng Shuai. Novak Djokovic won in the singles and doubles to help Serbia fight past Kazakhstan 2-1 and reach the Davis Cup semi-finals in Austria. Liverpool's strong performance in the English Premier League continues. The team defeated Everton's team 4-1 in the match played on Wednesday. Manchester City's impressive journey in the English Premier League continues. The team registers its 4th consecutive win in the league. Karim Benzema scored the only goal of the game as Real Madrid extended their lead at the top of La Liga to 7 points by beating Athletic Bilbao. Indian men's junior hockey team enters the semi-final at the ongoing Hockey Men's Junior World Cup. India beat Belgium by 1-0 to secure the semi-final berth. The pain of the victims of the Bhopal gas tragedy will now be shown in the upcoming project by the Yash Raj Films titled The Railway Men, and it is a tribute to the unsung heroes of this tragedy. Director Ram Madhavan is all set for his upcoming release, Arya 2, sequel to Arya, starring Sushmita Sen in the lead role, and the series will release on Disney Plus Hotstar on December 10th. The makers of 420 IPC, an intriguing courtroom drama about an economic offence, have unveiled an intriguing trailer. The film starring Vinay Pathak and Ranveer Shori will release on Z5 app on December 17th. Dhwani Bhanushali's latest song Mera Yaar, which marks the pop singer's debut as composer and lyricist, has finally been unveiled. Hulu's Only Murders in the Building has got a new addition. The season 2 of the mystery comedy will also be starring Cara Delevingne along with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, Aaron Dominguez and Amy Ryan. Hollywood actor Nicolas Cage is all set to play Dracula in Renfield, a monster movie loosely based on 1897 horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. British actor Riz Ahmed's left-handed films and Lulu Wong's Local Time have partnered up to develop the comedy series The Son of Good Fortune for Amazon. Actor Rupert Grint, known for playing Ron in the Harry Potter film franchise, is all set to star in Netflix's anthology series Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Actor Halle Berry has signed a multi-title deal with the service to produce and star in feature films. Now it follows the success of her directorial debut, Bruised, on Netflix. The cast of Netflix's epic fantasy series The Witcher hit the red carpet at London's Leicester Square on Wednesday to premiere the highly anticipated second season. And that's all we have for you in today's edition of Express News. Do stay tuned in to DD India for the latest news updates. Thanks for watching.